Yilrotsen imrefi behagion libile fanechado inoit suribe goyali. May the words of my mouth and the thoughts of my heart be acceptable before you, O God, my rock and my redeemer. We begin this week by looking deep into the text of Parshat Korach, the Torah portion of Parshat Korach. This portion contains one of the most frightening, destructive, and ultimately profound events in our entire history. It is a story that forces us to question the structure of authority, the nature of true holiness, and the very fabric of how human beings interact with one another. The simple physical story teaches us about a massive, highly organized political rebellion. Korach was a man of immense wealth, high family standing, and great prestige. He gathers together 250 princes of the congregation. These are not ordinary men. They are famous men, the respected leaders of the assembly. And together they confront Moses and Aaron, his brother, with an argument that on the surface sounds incredibly modern, even noble, and completely fair. We read in their direct challenge in Bamidbar, Numbers 16:3. Rav lochem kikol ho'edo kulom kadoshim uvesoichom Hashem umadua tisnasu al kal Hashem. It is too much for you, for the entire congregation. All are holy, and the Lord is in their midst. Why then do you lift yourself up above the assembly of the Lord? That's what they said. Korach is presenting a deeply attractive philosophy. He looks at the entire camp of Israel and declares that everyone stood together at Mount Sinai. Everyone heard the divine voice. Therefore, every single person is equally holy. He then asks, well, why should there be a high priest? Why should there be a singular leader? Why should there be any difference or hierarchy at all? This is the basic layer of the text. It looks like a simple political coup hidden behind a righteous demand for equality. But we must pause and look much deeper. Korach was not a fool. The fact is, he was one of the most intelligent, elevated souls in the generation. He was a Levite, a carrier of the Holy Ark. The question then is, how could a man with such a brilliant mind make an error so catastrophic that it resulted in the earth literally opening its mouth to swallow him alive? A punishment so strange and so unnatural must mirror a very deep breaking of the spiritual rules. The big secret of Korach's rebellion is actually not about the desire for political power. It is about a devastating misunderstanding of how the universe is actually built. To understand the terrifying mechanics behind his failure, we must introduce a fundamental concept from the teaching of the esoteric tradition. We must explore the sophisticated architecture of Shlosha Kavin, the three pillars. This concept explains the deep design of cosmic balance. The divine structure and the structure of the human soul operates on three distinct vertical lines or pillars. The right column represents unbridled expansion, endless giving, and pure loving kindness. On the other hand, the left column represents severe restriction, boundaries, and strict judgment. If left completely alone, the right column would overwhelm reality with infinite light, and the left column would burn reality to ash with inflexible strictness. Therefore, the system requires the middle column, which is the active, harmonizing force that blends and synthesizes the two extremes, the two opposites. You see, before our current universe was made, an earlier world of chaos shattered because its divine forces operated in total isolation as single, inflexible lines without the ability to compromise. The world of rectification survives and thrives only because it operates through these three pillars that we mentioned, allowing opposing forces to interact with each other and stabilize the whole structure. The emphasis here on harmonizing the left and the right, bringing them together and compromise, creating this middle column. Now we can look at the leaders of the desert generation and see exactly what they represented in this grand cosmic design. The high priest represents Aaron, the pure right column. Aaron is the loving kindness, chesed embodiment. He is famously known as a man who chases peace and loves humanity without conditions. As an elite Levite, Korach represents the left column. The Levites are the guardians of boundaries. They are the administrators of strict judgment and the enforcers of severe rules. This is a holy and necessary, very necessary function. We need boundaries. We need structure. We cannot have a world without rules. And thirdly, Moses, represents the middle column. He is the ultimate attribute of Tiferet, harmony and truth. He is the force that perfectly balances the endless giving of his brother Aaron with the severe restriction of the Levites. Now, the fatal flaw of Korach was that he looked at this magnificent three-part structure and he decided he did not need other pillars at all. He looked at the right column of kindness and the middle column of harmony, and he viewed them as simply just useless. He truly believed that the left column, strict, inflexible, absolute judgment, was enough to govern reality all on its own. When Korach declared that all the congregation is holy, He was essentially saying that every individual should exist as a completely independent, separate unit of perfection. He believed they required no higher harmony, no leader to balance them, and no structure to direct them. He was fighting for a flat, unbending reality of absolute strictness and separation. But the esoteric wisdom teaches us a terrifying truth about the left column. When strict judgment operates in absolute isolation, without the sweetening influence of loving kindness, it becomes a destructive fire. It consumes everything in its path, including itself. By demanding absolute unbending equality, Korach was dragging the physical world backwards. He was creating the exact cosmic conditions that caused the original universe to shatter. He wanted stiff pillars that do not bend, that do not yield, and do not combine. This is exactly why the punishment for Korach and his followers was so specific and so utterly terrifying. You see, when you attempt to isolate the pillars of reality, when you refuse to harmonize and insist on operating as a single, inflexible line, you create a literal crack in the foundation of existence. The earth's opening its mouth to swallow them was not a random miracle. It was not random at all. It was the physical result of the spiritual crack Korach had created in the upper arms. The ground beneath their feet could no longer hold them up because the cosmic architecture above them had been broken. You see, this exact dynamic play out in the test of the Keteures, of the incense. Moses tells the 250 men to take fire pans and offer incense to see who the divine presence will choose. You see, the incense is the ultimate symbol of the middle column. It is a precise, carefully measured harmony of many different spices. This includes the chelbana, the galbanum, a spice that smells quite bad on its own, but is absolutely essential to the sweet smell of the whole mixture. The incense represents the highly sophisticated blending of opposing elements in one unified, elevated reality. Korach's men, existing purely in the isolated strict reality on the left column, attempted to wield the power of harmony. But because they possessed no internal harmony, and because they violently rejected the middle column, the fire of their own strict judgment consumed them. They were literally burned alive by the very force they refused to balance. And the rebellion of Korach is a profound warning to all of us today. You see, true holiness is never a black and white. It is never one-sided. It is not founded on absolute, rigid sameness, nor is it found in the modern illusion of flat equality. True holiness is the highly mature harmonization of absolute opposites into a sustainable, interacting reality. It requires the deep humility to realize that our specific perspective, our specific pillar, is utterly destructive without the balancing forces of others. So here is our real-world challenge. This is how we can bring the heavens down to earth for this week. This week, I want you to perform a serious, honest audit of your own behavior. Look closely at your family dynamics, your business relationships, or your community involvement. Identify one specific area where you might acting just slightly perhaps like Korach. Find a place where you're operating exclusively from the left column, where you are demanding rigid perfection, enforcing inflexible boundaries, and judging others perhaps with absolute strictness while refusing to compromise. Your challenge for this week is to engage in active tikkun hamidot, rectification of character traits. You must deliberately inject the right column into that specific situation. Find a way to actively harmonize your strict judgment with an uncharacteristic act of loving kindness. Soften your demand for absolute correctness. Listen to the person you are judging. And look for the place where you can bend. By doing this, you're not weakening your position. The opposite. You're rebuilding the shattered architecture of your life. You're proving that you have the spiritual maturity to operate as the middle column, creating peace out of opposing forces and preventing the ground beneath your relationships from splitting open. And if the concept we explored regarding the destructive nature of isolated severity were a profound lesson in maintaining balance, wait until next week when we unveil the secrets of purification and the paradox of the red heifer, so God will in Parshat Korach. For now, I truly hope that you enjoyed this short masterclass lesson. And tune in for more next time, Bezrat Hashem. For now, I would like to thank you for listening. Thank you for joining me. I very much enjoyed having you here, and I look forward to seeing you, hopefully, next week, Bezrat Hashem. All the very best for this week.